How to draw a donut. Welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this delicious donut with markers. I'll show you how to do this step by step. This is an easy drawing lesson for kids, beginners, and kids of all ages. Hi everyone, welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Alphabet Soup, we choose a letter from the alphabet and we draw food that starts with that letter. So let's draw. This is what you'll need for today's drawing. You're going to need a piece of paper. I have my dollar store drawing pad here. It's 11 inches by 8.5. You're going to need a pencil and an eraser. And today we're using markers. I've got a pink and a light brown. And I've also got blue, orange, and green for the sprinkles. And as usual, I have my fine-tipped black marker for outlining. And I have my old paintbrush that I use to brush off my page. So let's begin. I'll clear this area and we can start drawing our donut. Okay, now we're going to have a nice kind of strawberry or raspberry colored donut today. So let's start. We have basically kind of a big oval. Now I'm going to be outlining and erasing my pencil marks, so I don't mind if I do stuff like this, but if you're not going to erase your pencil marks, maybe just try to draw a nice oval for yourself. There we go. And the donut has a hole, of course, in the middle, just like that. And let's draw a semicircle there. And another one here. No, that looks terrible. And this isn't straight either. Let me fix this up for you. I want it to be a round donut. There we go. And I'm going to draw a little bit here, because that's going to look like the bottom of the donut. Now we do have frosting on it, so I want it to really look like frosting. I'm going to do some kind of squiggly lines like this, and it's going to be dripping down off the donut like this, and kind of around it like that. And I know that looks a little confusing right now, so I'm going to erase these lines in the middle, just so you don't get confused. Because I want you to see how I want it to look. Because, yes, donuts are round, but at the same time, they're not perfectly round, are they? And the frosting or the icing of the donut is dripping off it. Okay? You'll see better when I do the outline, but I wanted to show you right away, just so you don't get confused. You see, it's kind of like the frosting is coming down here and then over the side of the donut and around like that. And it's also kind of dripping down the edges here of the middle of the donut. Like that. So what I'm going to do is erase that top part of the circle so it all looks like it's part of the frosting. And like I said, you're going to see better when I outline, which I am ready to do right now with my fine tip black marker. So I'm going to outline everything. I'll start with the top, but like I said, I am going to be erasing my pencil marks, so I don't mind if I don't really stick to them. But if you're not going to erase your pencil marks, try to stay on them as you're outlining. Okay, and now the middle. And that's as easy as it is. That is the outline of our donut. So I'm going to erase my pencil marks. If you are, make sure that your marker is dry, just so you don't smudge everything everywhere. And you're going to see how this is going to look like a really delicious donut by the time we're finished.
all those pencil marks off. You see what I mean now that you can see the outline? It looks more like a delicious donut now. This is an easy one today. Now this is alphabet soup, so why don't we take our pencils, or why don't we take our markers, as my dog plops down on the floor next to me, and we'll write capital D for donut, and a small d, and let's spell donut. There are two ways to spell donut actually, so let's do capital D, and then we have O, we have N, we have a U, and a T. But there's another way to spell donut. Capital D, O, U, G, H, N, oh my stomach, U, and T. This, if you break up the word in two, that's dough, you know, like a bread dough or a pizza dough. And then you have the nut, which I guess, I don't know why it's called a nut, but it's a donut with dough. Or you just take out the UGH and spell it the quick way, donut, like that. So I just wanted to show you both ways of spelling donut. Now I'm going to start with my brown color, okay? And you see the inside part of the donut there and the outside part here, that's going to be brown. And this is a nice light brown, so it's going to really look like a donut. And I'm going to be careful because these markers, they tend to expand, so I have to use a very light touch with these. You could use coloring pencils if you wanted to, but I think that marker looks really nice because of the pink that we're going to have on here, but you'll see when it's all done. It's going to look really, really delicious. And I'm going to do the same thing for this part here, just with a very light touch. But I'm using a light touch with my markers. Depends what kind of markers you use. You may not need to go so light as me. Oh, that's my stomach. I'm telling you, you guys know if you've seen my videos before, my stomach always growls when I'm drawing. Maybe it's because I'm drawing a donut. I feel like eating a donut. There we go. So that's the bready kind of part of the donut. Now let's take our pink. I have the same type of markers, so I have to be a little careful. I want to make sure this is dry. Don't want to get brown on my hand. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to go around with a light touch, and I'm going to color in the pink icing of my donut. And I think this is probably strawberry. Maybe raspberry, but I think strawberry. A long, long time ago, oh my goodness, a very long time ago, when I was in school, when I was going to university, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts at night, and I went to school during the day because I was on my own when I was younger. So I had to support myself, you know. I had to have a job to pay for the apartment and to pay for food. So I worked 6 nights a week at Dunkin' Donuts, and I decorated the donuts. I was working in the kitchen in the back, and there was a young man there who was baking them. He baked the donuts and he fried the donuts, and it was my job to decorate them. So I would take the donuts and dip them into the frosting, put sprinkles on them, put sugar on them, fill them up, you know, those donuts that are filled with cream and custard and jam. I did that too. And when I worked there, they always let us take home donuts after our shift. So I ate a lot of donuts back then. And my favorite donut is, what is it called? I think it's called Boston Cream. It's a donut like this. They're fried, those donuts, in oil. And inside they have custard. And then they're dipped in chocolate. And they're so good. I love those. And my stomach is grumbling as I'm talking about my favorite donut. And I used to make those donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. That wasn't easy, working at night and going to school during the day. But I'm glad that I was able to take care of myself. And I got a lot of donuts, a lot of yummy donuts. There was something else over there at Dunkin' Donuts. They had in the mornings, I think, or was it all day? I don't remember. They had what they called croissant sandwiches or croissant sandwiches or something like that. They were made with, you know, those crescents, croissants, the little pastry that looks like a butterhorn. I think they're also called butterhorns. I'm not sure. But basically it was almost like if you think about McDonald's. McDonald's has a breakfast sandwich called the Egg McMuffin. Well, it was basically the Egg McMuffin, but they used croissants instead of English muffins. And I used to love those too. We used to get those for breakfast. That was part of, when you work at restaurants, a lot of the times they feed you. So we were allowed to take home a box of donuts after each shift. And we were allowed to have a meal for free. And usually back then, well, at least back then when I worked there, they didn't really have as much as they have now at donut shops. They had donuts, and they had those croissant sandwiches, and they had soup. And coffee, of course, you know. So after my shift, each morning, I guess, it was the midnight to 6 shift, I would have a coffee and a croissant sandwich that had sausage, egg, and cheese in it. It was so good. Every time I worked there. Which now, my stomach probably would not enjoy. Plus, it's not the healthiest thing to eat. It was pretty greasy. And I would have my donuts that I would eat during the day while I was at school or studying. And I remember I would go to sleep at, 4 o'clock in the afternoon after my classes. I'd come home from school after my classes and I'd fall asleep at 4 o'clock, wake up at 11 and go to work. And then on my day off, I would study. It was crazy. But I basically ate a lot of donuts. I guess that was my point. Oh, and I used to make, what were those things called? The donut holes. They had a name for them at Dunkin' Donuts, and I can't remember what they were. They were basically the hole that came from the donut that they kept, and they fried them, and I would put them in sugar and fill them up with jam, and my stomach. Listen to that. I'm gonna have to get something to eat after this, or else my stomach is gonna growl all day. All right. right. There, my frosting is on my donut. Doesn't that look good already? But we're going to, oh, I dropped the top of my marker, but I will get that after. Now I'm going to take these three colors here, green, blue, and orange, and I'm just going to draw sprinkles. Now for the sprinkles, I'm just doing straight lines all the way over the donut. And they're random, they don't have to be in any kind of order. And not very long, I want them to be kind of all the same size. And they get a little lost with the pink, but watch what I'm going to do. They're just kind of in the background. You can kind of see them, you know? And I'm not going to put them on the drippy area, just kind of around the donut here. And now for the blue color. There we go. Oh, that's looking great. So that's it, my friends. That is it. That is our donut. Wasn't that fun? Now I want you to sign your work. I want you to take a lot of pride in the beautiful work of art that you just created. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, my friends, and we'll see you next time on Rain Francis Art for Kids. Thanks for watching. Bye.